Next up, there is a very, very exciting panel discussion called Women Who Win, featuring some remarkable leaders who have made their mark before turning 30. Yes, it's all about the under 30 today. Moderating this discussion is Neha Bothra, Associate Editor, Forbes India. This special session celebrates the extraordinary young women who are reshaping industries and breaking barriers. This power-packed conversation will aim to inspire the next gen of change makers and how women can thrive and lead this rapidly evolving world. Please welcome Navya Naveli Nanda, founder of Project Naveli and L'Oréal Paris India spokesperson. Yes, please keep going. Anushka Rathod, digital content creator. Premji Invest's Seethalakshmy Narayanan, and Parul Chaudhary, a gold medalist at the 2022 Asian Games. Over to you, Neha.
Thanks, Nanny. So before we begin the panel, I thought we'll start with a show of hands. How many of you in this room at some point or the other have struggled with self-worth? You know, the constant chatter we have in our mind when we question ourselves. How many of you have faced that and been through it? Okay. So many of us understand what it means to conquer the self-doubt and understand our worth. My second question, how many of you have settled for less than you believe you deserve? Not many. So that isn't an area of a problem here. So we'll begin the panel now to understand how many of our panelists have actually conquered many of these struggles and how they have overcome challenges. Navya, I'll come to you first. Tell me a bit about the various defining moments you had in your life which have helped you discover yourself and embark on this journey.
Firstly, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to be in company of young people for a change. And I think very special to be here with Forbes and with L'Oréal Paris. So thank you for having me. I think to answer your question, a lot of defining moments in my life. I think the first for me would have been when I started my first business. That was a big moment for me. It was a risk that I wanted to take. It was something that I wanted to start for myself and for the work that we were doing, which was women's healthcare. That didn't work out. And that's why it was a defining moment, because I think it taught me a lot. And after hearing, so many people here today speak as well, I think failure is really a part of your journey, and you can't let that define you, but you can learn from that and you can grow from that. And I think that that's what that experience taught me. And I think it's important sometimes to fail earlier on in your life, because it gives you a lot of valuable lessons that you can incorporate in the future. I'm applying a lot of those lessons in the businesses that I run today, and I think it's given me a lot of strength as well. I think your first question about overcoming self-doubt really came because I started off with something that didn't really succeed. And that's okay. And I think that it's inspiring to see so many young people here today as well take that risk every single day. And I think that's what keeps us going. And that's what gives me hope in the future that, the future of India is in very safe hands. When I look at this room, I can say that with absolute certainty.
That's interesting. Anushka, what about you? How did you find your calling as an influencer?
I was just having that conversation with Ahana before. It was never one single day when I decided to become an influencer at all. I would, there's this line which I keep repeating is that I did not really know what was happening. It was during COVID, so I was taking it one day at a time. And I went from like a core finance journey to, detouring and making videos on the internet. And that's why I say this line that my detour became my destiny. But it all happened by chance.
That's inspiring. Parul, आप बताइए, आपने ये कब realize किया कि आप एक बेहतरीन एथलीट हैं?
फर्स्ट टाइम मैं स्कूल में गेम खेल रही थी, तो जो मेरे पापा जी थे, तो उनके चेहरे पे इतनी खुशी थी. वो खुशी, मतलब उस खुशी के लिए मैं खेली हूँ.
उस खुशी के लिए आप खेल रही हैं, आपने किन odds का सामना किया यहाँ तक आने के लिए, हमें जरा विस्तार में बताइए।
देखो, मैं एक छोटे से गांव से निकली हूँ, तो मतलब गांव में आस पड़ोस में बोलते थे पेरेंट्स को कि ये कुछ नहीं करेंगे, क्योंकि यहाँ गांव में ज्यादातर लड़कियों का होता है कि खाना बनाना है, फिर आगे जाके शादी कर देनी है। तो मेरे पेरेंट्स ने हमारे ऊपर विश्वास रखा और इतना आगे हमें लेके आए। तो यही मैं बोलूंगी कि मतलब पेरेंट्स का सपोर्ट होना बहुत जरूरी है।
बिल्कुल। Seethalakshmy, coming to you, I think what Parul just said beautifully leads into your experiences of working in a male-dominated industry as well. Tell me a bit about how your experience has been cracking deals in a room full of men who may look down on you. Tell me a bit more about that.
Thank you so much for having me here. I think to just reflect on the question that you just said, I think in the last 5 to 10 years, I think things have evolved where people are respecting women in some of the, and we are seeing a lot of women coming up in segments where we have not seen historically as much. It's usually, I mean, people usually respect people with coming in with definite views. And it so happens that even in a room full of people, if the idea is to just reconcile, come up with new thoughts, and then just build a world together, a better place for everyone to be in, I think it's just much easier for people to make progress. Even in terms of creating deals or like winning deals in male-dominated industry, over the last many years, I think people are very supportive, and irrespective of whichever gender people belong to, it's usually supportive seniors that really pave our way in terms of making progress and leading great, meaningful journeys.
Indeed, we are seeing a very tangible change when it comes to that. A long way to go, but yes, we have made a start. Navya, I'll come to you. You spoke about your failures. Now, many people in this room believe that maybe you've not had a fair share of struggles. You know, you've got everything handed on a platter. So tell us, what are the struggles you've overcome, and some anecdotes that you'd like to share with us that helped you be the person you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be, I wouldn't want to sit here and talk about, struggles that I've had, because I would acknowledge that I think my reality is very different to a lot of people in this room. And having said that, I don't think that at 21, I would have been able to start a business if I didn't have that kind of support, whether that was financial or whether that was the support of my family, like she said. I think all of these things, create the kind of privilege that I come from, and I'm very grateful for that. But having said that, I think struggle for me might have been your first question, which was overcoming self-doubt. Another thing that maybe a lot of other people in this room might have faced is that a lot of people, look at you at 22, 23, you're starting off a business and think that you're incapable of taking forward that vision that you've created for yourself because of your age. And I think that's something I faced. I had a lot of people tell me that I was too young to be doing what I do. I run a non-profit where we work around very serious themes with women, domestic violence, healthcare, legal awareness. And every room that I walked into to share that vision or to grow that vision, I was told that I was too young, or that I didn't know what I was talking about, that I didn't have the experience that I required to really create the kind of impact that I wanted to. And I think that that's something maybe that a lot of young people today might face. And I actually believe that because such a large percentage of our country's population are young people, I think it really is our responsibility to play a very, very big part in building this future that we all talk about, whether that's in the form of business or in the form of philanthropy. And I'm trying to play that part. But yeah, I think that was definitely a challenge starting off at a younger age. So.
Anushka, you said your detour became your destiny. Tell me about some challenges you face as a influencer. I ask this more in light of the regulatory changes we are seeing and how you need to keep up with these changes. Tell me a bit about how you stay agile to actually cater to the needs of people and at the same time toe the regulatory line.
The thing about finfluencers is that we've all been bucketed into one category. However, within finfluencers, there are different categories. I come from personal finance, where we talk about credit cards, budgeting, taxation, where I do have experience. And then there's entire segment of stock markets where most of the regulatory issues arise.
Exactly.
And also, this is a bigger conversation to have as to why people are listening to them or why there's a need for them to even, why there's a need for people to go to unauthorized sources? Why can't it come from authorized sources? So these SEBI regulations today are so stringent that for a population this large, we have only 1,800 SEBI registered investment advisors. So that actually opens up a question that we do need to, make these regulations simpler so that more and more people are willing to take up these regulations. I myself am in the process of getting registered, and it's been a long journey just getting there. So just like getting some clarity, we do have, a paper from SEBI. They've notified us that they're going to get these changes. So we're hoping that these come soon. So we can also talk about stock markets. We can also talk about investments with, certainty, and there's no gray area or ambiguity there.
So you talk about personal finance. Tell us a bit about how empowered are women when it comes to managing finances.
Unfortunately, I would say because of social conditioning, even though women are earning, they don't really manage their own finances. Now, there's of course a wave where more and more women are entering this field and they want to be aware and invest for themselves. However, the larger picture, the larger reality for most women is that they don't want to, because they've been told that, it's a man's job, and they've been told that, they have to take care of the household. So you can't expect a woman who's working or who has other responsibilities to also take up this burden, which she's always been told that she's not good at. So it's a mental barrier for women, and it's also something as a society where we should be talking to our daughters about finance. We should invite daughters or sisters, spouses, your business partners. All of these decisions, all of the conversations around money should be had with them. They should be equally involved, and that's how women will become comfortable and also, start taking initiative and invest for themselves.
इंडीड तो पारुल ये बता रही थी कैसे women को हमेशा बताया जाता है कि आपने ये करना है, आपने ये नहीं करना है. आपने जब ये डिसीजन लिया कि आपको स्पोर्ट्स में अपना नाम बनाना है, तो आपके फैमिली ने आपको सपोर्ट किया, पर जो एक सोशल स्टिग्मा था, जेंडर बायस था, आपने वो कैसे ओवरकम किया?
तब यही है, मतलब शुरू में तो मतलब सब बोलते थे कि लड़की को भेज, मेरी फैमिली से बोलते थे लड़की को भेज रहे हैं और कोई, तो ये सब था. लेकिन मैंने इन सब बातों पे ध्यान नहीं दिया क्योंकि मेरे पेरेंट्स ने मेरे ऊपर विश्वास रखा है और बस ये.
Coming to you, Seethalakshmy, you are in a very exciting space. You're cracking deals, and there's so much happening in the finance space right now. Tell me a bit about what stands out after the funding winter that we saw last year.
I think a lot of people, and at the start of today's evening also, we venture into saying this, that people are not talking about valuation. People are talking more about unit economics. People are talking more about where a sustainable business could be built rather than how fast can one become a unicorn. So after the funding winter, it's just quite good to see that people are now focusing back on basics, which should have always been the case. But I think you can blame it on investors as well, where the dry powder has been excessive coming from different parts of the world, and India being the fastest growing economy. So blame it on investors. People were giving crazy valuation, but after that, you see a lot of discipline in the current set of founders, current set of companies which have thrived through the funding winter. There have been amazing companies. I think just one company that comes to my mind, PhysicsWallah, which has raised $1 billion round just like 12 to 18 months back, again to a $2 to $3 billion valuation. It's just the sheer unit economics, the perseverance of the founders that makes a great companies get great funding, even when the funding winter is there. Valuations are not a concern at all. So I would say that back to unit economics, stay strong and just focus on the core. I think that's becoming the fundamental principle that's driving the economy today.
So far in the conversation, we've touched upon many of the invisible boundaries women specifically have to address. Navya, what's the impact that you want to make in a rapidly changing world?
That's a tough question to answer. I don't think it's a one-word answer, but I do feel that we all, whether it's me through a non-profit or whether it's you through your business, have a responsibility to leave society better than we found it. That we can always be better. We can always do better. For me, because primarily what I do is we work, with women. We want to empower women to really accept entrepreneurship as an aspirational career path. I think like everyone here has spoken about, I think, of course, we are seeing a lot more representation across fields, but sometimes there is a barrier to enter. And that's the kind of barriers that we're trying to break through the work that we do at Project Naveli. I think entrepreneurship has been one of the most exciting hats that I've worn in my life, and it makes me really happy that I'm able to do that. And I think sharing that with as many women as I can, I would love to do that. And having said that, I don't think this is, just a responsibility of me as a woman or women in general. I think the men sitting in this room equally play a very big part in creating that kind of a space or ecosystem for women to grow, for women to build aspirational careers. And I think, having looked at the room we're in today and also the younger generation of men, I have a lot of confidence and faith that, they will help us build those kind of ecosystems.
Anushka, what about you? What impact do you want to make?
I really just want to help Indians make smarter and informed financial decisions, be it through, my videos or the products that I launch in future. But I want every Indian who is investing or who is putting their hard-earned money somewhere to have full knowledge and, just know how the visibility of their investment is going to look like. I don't want anyone to be scammed or not know what they're getting into just because they did not have the right information or the resources.
Sure. What about you, Seethalakshmy? What's the big impact that you want to make in your space?
I would really want to back founders who will create a better place to be in. Like it could be like right set of products. It could be catering to the ecosystem in a big fashion. So would love to partner with founders who are creating and help them make an impact, even a larger impact through funding.
इंटरेस्टिंग पारुल, आप क्या इम्पैक्ट बनाना चाहती हैं दुनिया में जो बहुत तेजी की रफ्तार से चेंज हो रहा है?
हाँ जी, जैसे कि मैं अपने गांव से मतलब स्पोर्ट्स में निकली हूँ, तो और मुझे देख के और लड़कियां भी अभी स्पोर्ट्स करना स्टार्ट कर रही हैं, तो मैं यही बोलूँगी कि मैं भी फ्यूचर में प्लान करूँगी कि अकेडमी ओपन करके उनको ट्रेनिंग कराना है.
Okay. Now I have one common question for all four of you. And you need to answer it in 10 seconds. So just a couple of words. What does winning mean to you?
Oh, okay. Winning for me is not wait, 10 seconds. I don't think I can answer this in 10 seconds, but I'll try. Winning for me is not individual. I think this moment right here is a win for me. The fact that we're all sitting here as women talking about what we do and what we love, that's a win for me.
Anushka?
I'll just say one word: impact.
All right.
Persistence and just showing up every day, no matter what.
पारुल, आपके लिए जीत क्या मायने रखती है? आपके लिए जीत का क्या मतलब है?
मतलब मैं इस मुकाम पे आई हूँ तो ये एक जीत ही है, और जैसे कि फोर्ब्स अंडर 30 में हूँ, जीत है. और जो सबसे बड़ी जीत है वो जो मेरे पेरेंट्स की जब मैंने पहली बार रनिंग की थी और जो उनके चेहरे पे वो मुस्कान थी, वो जीत.
Thank you so much, Navya, Anushka, Seethalakshmy, and Parul. That was a great discussion. Many thanks.